Napoli, a city full of life, history, and the most incredible food. Every corner tells a story, every street is bursting with energy, and every bite is an experience. If you ever wondered what makes Napoli so special, you're in the right place. Today, we're taking you on a journey through its heart, where the past meets the present, where flavors are unforgettable, and where every moment is an adventure. Welcome back to Lulumilu Diaries, where every corner of the globe has a story to be told and food to be shared. If you loved our last vlog from Napoli, get ready because we have more adventures, more food, and more fun in the heart of this magical city. Let's dive in. Our journey today started at Porta Capuana, one of the oldest and most significant gateways into Napoli. Built in the 15th century, this grand archway was once the main entrance to the city, welcoming merchants, travelers, and royalty alike. Even today, it stands as a proud reminder of Napoli's rich past, blending seamlessly with the vibrant energy of the modern city. Walking through it felt like stepping into history, where centuries of stories whispered through its ancient stones. Our first stop had to be a cafe, where Milo and I treated ourselves to two of Napoli's most famous desserts, cake della Napoli and pistachio cake. The cake della Napoli, with its rich layers of biscuits, cocoa, and cherry, was pure indulgence. The pistachio cake, on the other hand, was soft, nutty, and had just the right amount of sweetness. We took our first bites together, and oh my gosh, it was an instant moment of joy. And because no Italian coffee visit is complete without coffee, we ordered 2 cappuccinos, one topped with music and the other with love. Yes, you heard that right. Napoli finds a way to make even coffee poetic. Sipping on those velvety cappuccinos while soaking in the city's atmosphere was the perfect start to our adventure. Fueling up, we wandered through Napoli's Old Town. Napoli's Old Town is like stepping into a different world. The streets are narrow and full of character, lined with colorful buildings and the aroma of fresh pizza. Walking through these lively alleys, we couldn't help but fall in love with the charm of this place. Street musicians played their tunes, scooters waved through the crowds, and the energy was contagious. The market here is a world of its own, bursting with life and colors. Everywhere we turned, there were stalls overflowing with the freshest fruits and vegetables, bright oranges, deep purple figs, and fragrant basil branches ready to be taken home. Fresh seafood was displayed on ice, with fishmongers calling out their daily catch, and the scent of herbs and spices filled the air. But it wasn't just food. This market had everything. Rows of shops sold clothes, leather bags, handcrafted goods, and even vintage treasures. If you can imagine it, you can find it here. The energy was infectious, with vendors passionately selling their goods, customers bargaining for the best deals, and the sounds of Napoli's heartbeat all around us. It was an experience that engaged every sense, making us feel completely immersed in the soul of this historic city. To get a bird's eye view of Napoli, we took the funiculaire up the hill. It's the easiest way to reach breathtaking viewpoints, and the ride itself felt like a little adventure. But what awaited us at the top was even more spectacular. Castel Sant'Elmo. Have you ever stood somewhere that made you feel like you were looking at an entire city in the palm of your hand? That's exactly how it felt. From the castle's fortress walls, Napoli stretched out endlessly below, with its terracotta rooftops, bustling streets, and the deep blue sea glistening in the distance. And standing here, towering over it all, was Mount Vesuvius, silent yet so powerful, a constant reminder of the city's incredible history. Originally built in the 14th century, Castel Sant'Elmo has watched over Napoli for centuries, witnessing everything from royal power struggles to modern-day transformations. Its star-shaped design makes it one of the most unique fortresses in Italy. Can you imagine the stories these ancient walls could tell? The view alone makes this place worth visiting, but the history woven into every stone makes it even more unforgettable. If you ever visit Napoli, this should definitely be on your list. Of course, no trip to Napoli is complete without pizza, and we weren't going to settle for just any pizza. We went straight to Pizzeria di Michele, where Julia Roberts had her pizza in the extraordinary Eat, Pray, Love, a legendary spot in Napoli and one of the most famous pizzerias in the world. But what makes this place so special? Could it be the century-old tradition, the fresh ingredients, or the simple yet perfect recipe? Whatever the secret is, people from all over the world come here just to get a taste. The queue stretched down the street, but if there's one thing we've learned about food in Napoli, it's that a long line is always a good sign. The wait only made the anticipation stronger. Finally, we sat down and ordered the legendary margherita and marinara pizzas. And when they arrived, just whoa! No fancy toppings, no distractions, just pure authentic flavors. The dough was perfectly charred, soft yet crispy, the tomato sauce was vibrant and rich, the mozzarella melted beautifully, and the fresh basil on top tied it all together. We took our first bite, and for a moment everything else disappeared. It was perfection on a plate, proving that sometimes the simplest things are the most extraordinary. After indulging in all that deliciousness, we needed a walk. Strolling through Napoli's streets felt magical. The weather, the laughter, and the distant sound of music made the city feel alive in a whole new way. For a refreshing break, we grabbed a cup of fresh pomegranate and lemon juice. The perfect mix of sweet and tangy. It was exactly what we needed before heading to our next food stop. One of the most fascinating places we visited was a church, where people come to pray for children. The atmosphere was peaceful, and seeing all the heartfelt wishes left behind was incredibly moving. It was a reminder of the deep faith and traditions that are woven into Napoli's culture. Trattoria di Nennella was unlike any restaurant we had ever been to. This legendary eatery opens twice daily, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then again from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. They don't take reservations, so to get a table, you have to come early. We arrived at 5 p.m. and still had to wait until 8:30 p.m. to get in. But let me tell you, it was absolutely worth it. The moment we stepped inside, we knew we were in for something special. The waiters weren't just serving food. They were performing, singing, shouting, clapping. Every meal came with a side of pure entertainment. The entire place buzzed with energy, and we couldn't help but join in the fun. We ordered a grilled chicken with fried veggies. And let me tell you, it was beyond delicious. But more than the food, it was the experience that made this place unforgettable. The warmth, the laughter, and the sheer joy of the moment made the Trattoria di Nennella a highlight of our Napoli adventure. One of the best food experiences we had was trying gnocchi in the Spanish Quarter. Have you ever had a dish so comforting that it felt like a warm hug? That's exactly what Napoli's gnocchi was like. Soft, billowy, and coated in the creamiest sauce. It was pure bliss. The rich flavors, the perfect texture, and the cozy setting made it an unforgettable meal. And yes, we had more pizza, because when in Napoli, you eat pizza every chance you get. Napoli is charming in the daylight, but when it gets darker and it rains, it's like the city turns into a romantic Italian movie set. The glistening cobblestone streets, the soft sound of raindrops tapping against historic buildings, and the cozy glow of street lights reflecting off the wet pavement. It was pure magic. We found ourselves strolling through the Spanish Quarter again at night, umbrellas in hand, soaking in the atmosphere, and just when we thought things couldn't get any better, an irresistible smell stopped us in our tracks. You know that moment when the aroma of fresh pizza practically calls your name? That's exactly what happened as we passed by Pizzeria La Isa. There was no way we were walking past without stepping inside. The scent of bubbling tomato sauce, melted mozzarella, and perfectly charred dough filled the air. It was like a love letter to our taste buds. We ordered the original Napolitan margherita pizza, and let me tell you, the first bite was everything we dreamed of and more. Simple, fresh, and absolutely divine. Because if there's one rule in Napoli, it's this: when pizza calls, you answer. And of course, we couldn't leave Napoli without trying Baba Napoli. This famous Napolitan dessert is a sweet, spongy delight soaked in rum syrup, making every bite an explosion of flavor. It was the perfect mix of airy, moist, and indulgent, a true taste of Napoli's pastry magic. Ending the night with a slow stroll through the city was the perfect way to wrap up this adventure. Napoli is a city that stays with you long after you leave. The food, the people, the energy, it's truly special. What was your favorite part of this vlog? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. See you in the next adventure. Ciao!